Hello everybody, welcome to Lozy Motorsports. I guess today what we're going to do is just a quick sort of rundown of where we're at and what has transpired and where we're going, and we're just going to have a nice little chat basically on why this engine bay all of a sudden is empty. Don, how are things?
Very good, thanks.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So, I guess the big thing is we put together our cars. We had a wonderful FA24 on our Subarus. We had them originally just with the turbos running 267 horsepower. And then after we did these wonderful body kits on the car to give it all of that wonderful aero. And then I guess we had a different result when we went to the track.
Oh, the test and tune session.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we found out that even with the 380 horsepower tune, we're still losing kilometers, like 10s to 20 kilometers an hour on straightaway with the extra aero.
Yeah, that's right, because on your car, we had the forged engine in yours. So yes. Mine had the regular FA24, you had the forged one, yeah, with the new turbo and all of the 300 wonderful 80 horsepower that you had with it.
It was pretty peppy.
Yeah, it had lots of power, lots of jam.
Coming off the corners, it was, a lot of torque, and it's just that on the straightaways, you just couldn't push fast enough, right?
Yep.
So on the long straight in the back there, you were losing, somewhere between 10 and 14, 16 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, so
and we plan on putting even more aero on the car.
Yes, that's exactly it. So one of the things that we were, the original design goal with that forged engine was to try and be able to get it to a point where we're at 450 horsepower. That was the design goal of what we were trying. And when the tuner started trying to tune the engine, we were at 380 and we were running max as far as what we could get out of 94.
94 octane.
Yeah, with the 94 octane. So yeah. The only way to get more, we had to go with an exotic fuel, like either a racing fuel or E85. And that wasn't I wasn't in love with that one.
No, that was not a. If we would have wanted to go there, we would have suggested it. But at the track, you can get 91 and 94 octane, and yep. So that's the type of fuel that you really want to be able to get, so that you don't have to, mess with keeping a store of fuel around. Essentially, you just want to be able to go to the track, fill up the car and then put it on the track, essentially.
Yeah, just run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a little bit of a downer, I guess, when we found out that we needed to go into an exotic fuel to try and get the horsepower we really wanted. So after all of that is said and done, we decided to go a different route.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
I guess it's the old adage, right? The only substitute for a cubic inch is rectangular dollars.
Correct.
So 450 horsepower in the FA24 was going to be expensive. And, it's achievable, but, what can you do if you actually, buy more cubic inch?
Right. And that lends us to if you had a keen eye when I first started the video, you would have noticed possibly.
I think you'd probably see it in the background.
Maybe just over there, you can see the LS. So we have an LS3. And the idea is that we're going to take out the FA24 and put an LS3 engine in these wonderful cars. And they actually happen to fit really, really nicely.
They do. There's been a lot of, Gen 1 LS3 swaps, for the BRZ. So that'd be like the 13 to 2021. And so what we're attempting to do is a bit unique in that it's a Gen 2. And so, we've scoured everywhere to try to, find information on those swaps. And Nobody's really got anything at all with respect to a Gen 2 LS3 swap.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do here is we're going to try to document this so that, people have an idea what it takes to actually do this. What are the differences and what do we have to do to, figure out the adaptations, if any. I can understand why there's very few Gen 2s. I mean, most cars are not out of warranty yet. So, we're a bit of ahead of the curve in that regard. But, hopefully, we'll document this well enough that people will be encouraged to actually do it because it's achievable.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was interesting because as we were looking through the internet to try and see what people had done with the LS3s, and especially with the Gen 2, the couple of them that I did find that did a Gen 2 with an LS3 were bastardized. Like they had jury-rigged a whole bunch of things to try and make it work because the CAN buses are very different and there's no real CAN bus translator or gateway out there. So that's what made things quite a bit difficult. So a lot of the regular avenues on a BRZ to use to do these swaps with the LS3s was not very, it wasn't a blazed road yet.
No.
So this is where it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to accomplish with all of this.
Well, obviously, we'll work out all the bugs on this one. And when we document, from a video perspective, we'll be doing the other car. So we'll know exactly what are the right stages, what are the things to emphasize, all that kind of, because it always takes a little bit more time to do the first one than it does to do the second one, because you're always trying to, figure out exactly what needs to be done. And so, we'll work all of that through, and then basically we'll show everything that needs to get done appropriately, what things we had to change, and what are the sticky points or the unique challenges, I guess, with doing this, and then hopefully people will have enough information to kind of take on the task.
Yeah. So how much horsepower are we going to run with the LS3s?
Well, they're stock 525 because this is the what is it called, the LS376/525.
Correct.
And so this comes with the ASA cam in it. It's actually a very, very, out of the crate, 24-month warranty, 80,000 kilometers. From a race car perspective, they don't care what you use it for. As long as you break it in, it's all good. These are originally in 2014, this was the designed as the police interceptor. And it came in two varieties. One was a 480 and the other one was a 525, camshaft differences. And so from a tuning perspective, there's probably not a lot, there's a lot of dimensions to tune with when you've got a turbo system and variable valves. This is more straightforward, advanced timing essentially. And then, if you want to put some goodies on there, we're going to have some headers on it. So, if that's worth a couple of horsepower, then, we'll have that. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to actually, kind of end up, but I guess we'll put it on the dyno and then we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we haven't got enough, well, then we'll ask for a little bit more. And if that's not enough, then we'll supercharge. And
Indeed. So one of the byproducts of going with the LS3 was when we were running the FA24 with the turbos, even with a 267 that we have, more so though with the 380, because you're generating a lot more heat underneath the bonnet here. And with that heat, it's not very easy to deal with it. So we were having some, because the downpipe or the turbo piping comes really, really close to the fans.
Yep.
And we were having trouble with melting fan shrouds and stuff like that. So trying to deal with the heat inside of the motor, the engine bay, was a challenge when you're trying to use the FA24, which when you're going the LS3 route, it becomes a lot easier. Because one of the things we're hoping to be able to do is in our area, there is a series called Lucky Dog, and it's an enduro. And when we were talking to our engine builder, trying to think about running the FA24 with 380 horse in an enduro, which is 7 hours, that was not going to be, they were not very comfortable with that. So it definitely becomes...
It's hard on you know, I mean, you're talking you know, any engine that you're going to put through a 7-hour run, you know, it's going to take a lot of abuse.
Yep.
You know, because it's not highway driving at that point. Like, you're actually flat out.
Yep.
You know,
correct.
and so you do that for 7 hours, and you're putting the systems through a lot of heat cycles, a lot of, you know, vibration and heat cycles. So if there's anything that's going to come loose or get, you know, kind of squirrely, you know, that would be the time when the wheels would fall off. So, I mean, I don't know that you know, they were kind of reluctant to have it all together, except that, you know, maybe after a few years of running the FA24, then they'd be a little bit more, you know, after they've opened it up and they see how much wear and tear is on it, they'd feel a little bit more comfortable with that. But, you know, given that this was all brand new, then I was like, well, you know, maybe not this year, maybe a little bit later, I don't know. You know, because certainly the tuner has actually built some FA25s that have gone into, you know, was a WRX kind of, you know, cars, and they go into rallies, and I'm sure, you know, that's not just, you know, an hour worth of running, that's, you know, a few days essentially. Yeah. So, you know, the engines are not the same, but, you know, they're similar, and so, you know, chances are it would be okay. It's just that, you know, you want to see, you know, what it does. Baby steps is what you want, right? Whereas with the LS3, you know, there's none of that.
No,
just drop it in and just make sure you keep the tires on it.
Yeah.
Lots of torque. 485 out of the box. And so it's a good idea that we actually went to the wide body kits and the 295 tires. You know, we might even need more. Who knows?
Yeah, we're definitely...
You know, we're running a square setup now, but, you know, that might need to be staggered at some point.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking into that to see what might be the potential on the rear to go potentially with a wider tire than the 295.
But there's options at 295. We might just be able to put some slicks on or something like that just to get more grip. So.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a fun problem to have.
Indeed. So I think that's all we really want to capture today is why and where we're going with all of this. And well, stay tuned, stay with us, and you know, just going to have some fun trying to build and show you guys what we're doing.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
There's a lot of details that we're going to need to work out, and you know, I'm always looking forward to that.
Nice, nice. All right, well, we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.